This video is not meant to stir the pot or create more drama, just dissecting the news, breaking it down, and also I think it's important as a beauty content creator, influencer, consumer, most importantly, to support brands who are worth your money. Educate, bring attention to you. This is what's happening right now. You can go ahead and think for yourself on this whole situation. So currently there's this whole drama between Poom Cosmetics and Glow Cosmetics. Both of these brands, they are K-beauty brands and they are privately owned. So individual business owners, they are not owned shares by like Estee Lauder, LVMH, or More Pacific, none of that. So they are just privately funded businesses. Both of these brands are K-beauty brands, and recently there's a bit of drama between the two of them, and essentially the TLDR is such that Glow Cosmetics is saying that Poom Cosmetics is copying them. This whole drama started on TikTok, and it's only been like what, 3-4 days since this whole thing started off. And it started off with the CEO, founder of Glow Cosmetics, who is Casper from, I believe she used to be an idol. She was on Unpretty Rap Star. Also was a host and a speaker for Wish Trend TV, which that was how I knew about her. Basically, she went onto TikTok saying that, hey, this brand is copying us. She didn't mention names in the start, but eventually people kind of found out about it and were leaving comments and all that kind of thing. So eventually people were like, oh, it's Poom Cosmetics, which personally, I have never heard of Poom Cosmetics up until now.
So there's this brand out there that's been copying our brand so bad, and it's so obvious that they're doing this because number one, they follow all our accounts. Number two, they use the same symbol as us. Number three, they use the same color palette as us. Number four, they're trying to promote as their main product a complexion product just like our BB cream, along with the same sort of cloud sponge. Now, I'm not trying to say we were the inventors of this puff, but it's when multiple elements like this build up together that make it very obvious when a brand is copying you. And you know what? If you think this isn't enough, then look at this. That's them using our concealer to prop up their product. Like, what in the... To see them play the whole narrative of like a small brand trying very hard to make good complexion products, to have the lipstick lesbians call them out, it just... I mean, it's another thing if we were a huge brand ourselves that had millions and millions of dollars to promote this or make this go viral, whatever, but we're not. I really think it's sad when brands do this, and it's even more sad when the people that consume the brand don't know that they're basically ripping off other people.
I have seen the feedback and I do want to respond from my end. I understand that this is one video and I probably won't be able to cover everything perfectly, but I'll do my very best. I started Poom Cosmetics truly out of a personal pain point of mine. I have very acne prone skin, so I'm really sensitive to pore clogging ingredients. I wanted to create a makeup brand that had no pore clogging ingredients and was safe for skin like mine. When I first started product development, I wanted to launch with a cushion foundation line. Of course, it had to be acne safe, but also I wanted at least 6 shades. And I know 6 shades is not nearly enough, but I at least wanted that to start with and to space out the 6 shades as evenly as I could. So when I was talking to factories in Korea about producing a cushion foundation line, I quickly learned that making one is super expensive, more than making a regular foundation, because the cushion compact has so many moving parts to it. There's a puff in there, something to hold the puff, a sponge to soak up the formula, and then a mirror inside. So the unit price of producing one cushion foundation was really high. On top of that, the minimum order quantity was 10,000 a shade, and I just could not afford to do 6 shades with that type of minimum order quantity. At that point, I completely gave up on my brand. I just thought it wasn't meant to be. But my factory was actually very involved in my product development phase. They came back to me and said, hey, let's not give up. If you can't do a cushion foundation because it's too expensive for you, we could produce a foundation and that will be more affordable, and you could do the 6 shade minimum that you gave us. We formulated it for 2 years. The puff, the reason why my manufacturer suggested a puff to me was because we weren't able to go the cushion foundation route. The puff was a very popular beauty tool in Korea, and she introduced it to me and said this would be a good alternative for an application that you wanted, the cushion foundation. I signed off on the formula and then the puff. While I was waiting for the production time and my products to be made, I then discovered all the amazing brands, and the brand that called me out for the similarities and the overlap, they're one of the brands that I discovered after I signed off on everything. I'm a fan of their brand. Like, I tried their concealer and it's a really good concealer. I gifted it to all of my friends. The overlap and all of that was not my intention at all, and by then it was already too late because I had signed off on everything. From where I am now, I can like look back and see all of the similarities and the overlaps, and even though they were completely unintentional on my end, I recognize that results are valued way more than intention. Going forward, I am committed to making Poom more distinct from existing brands. My goal at the end of the day is to provide acne safe formulas. Of course, I want to like launch more products, intentionally differentiating our products from them. I just haven't been able to afford more product launches. Going forward, that is completely my intention. I probably missed the mark on so many things on this video, but I did want to release my statement.
And honestly, based off just like my first impressions of Poom Cosmetics, that is what I call a shade range. That is what we call giving depth, giving range, and even the owner herself says that, you know what, we know that this is not a complete range in a sense, but this is where we're starting off. Like, literally look at the range. It is actual foundation shades that they work standalone by itself. I personally never understood the mixer idea from Glow. Maybe it was their way of making sure there was still a range for people, but at the expense of their own pocket money. Glow, there is a need for you. As long as if you don't fit this one foundation shade, you need to buy a second shade, which is a bit like, why is the onus on the consumer themselves to actually buy another foundation when all along, if you're going to be a beauty brand, I think you should be more diverse in terms of shade range, thing for everyone. To me, BB cream and foundation are two different types of product with two different usages. Both are base makeup, yes. But I mean, if we look at the packaging between Glow and Poom for the BB cream and foundation individually, I don't see any similarities between the two. I think where the similarities add up to is the fonts, the logo, and all that, which is the next point where I do want to talk about. Now, as a person who, I'm a beauty content creator, yes, but also for my 9 to 6 job, I work full-time doing video production, working with clients, doing animation videos, things like that. So basically, I do see like branding guides, all that kind of thing as well. So I do have a rough idea when it comes to like branding. And sometimes for even like small business owners, a lot of the times they don't want to come across as copying different brands. But they also want to appeal to the masses. So eventually, what ends up happening is a lot of them has a similar font being used, be it like sans serif, serif, same color palette, all that kind of thing. In terms of branding, the similarities between the two brands is such where they both use a serif font. So serif means they have that little tail at the end of their alphabets. So they look like or little like z, that kind of thing. Branding today, I think I spoke about it briefly as well in my other videos, where a lot of the brands nowadays have a very similar vibe, similar branding style. Every brand, everyone looks more or less like a watered down version and very similar to one another. I wanted to say like, oh, this is the consequences of not having like brand identity and all that. But I think it's just like modern marketing or branding nowadays. Like, everyone looks so similar to one another because it's kind of like low-key easier to identify with the vibe. So one good example is KFC and McDonald's. Both of these brands are fast food chains, and in the logos for both brands, they have reds. Do they have the same tone of red? No, it's not the same shade of red either, but it's a pretty bright red that is pretty captivating. So does that mean is KFC copying McDonald's, or is McDonald's copying KFC? I don't think so, because that's how far the reach is to me when the founder of Glow is saying that they're copying our branding. What matters most is how you portray your brand. It is so much more than just fonts, logos. It's also about the way you present your brand as well. How are you presenting your brand? Is it like fancy, aesthetic? Is it cool, edgy? You know, all these sort of things comes into play as well. These are the lashes that I'm using. Using the Petite Club lashes. This is romantic. Right. The lipstick lesbians part. This is another part that kind of low-key like, what kind of thing. Let me put on my lashes because I can't lash that well. Okay, how are we looking? I think it's not bad. Ooh, I like it. So the lipstick lesbians are a very popular lesbian couple on Instagram and TikTok. Basically, Poom actually got a shout out from them, and they reviewed the products from Poom, which is their actual like foundation itself. So when I saw this video, or this portion being mentioned by Glow, it did kind of come across as a bit of like frustration and a bit of jealousy. It did come across like that to me personally, but I also have to think from the POV of Casper herself, because I can see why she would feel very frustrated and annoyed as well. So her calling out Poom indirectly, which eventually became directly on TikTok, I can sense a frustration, and I totally can see why. Because if you are a business, you create a product like this, it definitely takes time and years to develop, literally like your own baby. And you know what? It's social media. This whole video of Casper ranting that started off the whole saga, right? 1 minute and 4 seconds. It is not enough to encapsulate the entire context and situation of this whole thing happening to her. I believe this was like a moment for her to like explain her let go of her frustrations, and I empathize. I empathize with her. But I also do feel that this could have been settled behind closed doors and privately between Poom Cosmetics founder and her. Some more comments. Someone said, I couldn't care less about packaging. I've waited literal years for y'all to expand your shade range. You guys stay with the excuse that since you're a small business, you can't expand it just yet, but y'all are on Chemical, YESSTYLE, OLIVEYOUNG, etc. She was able to have a shade range as a one-woman company. I can tell who cares about their audience just from that. Acknowledge how inaccessible your brand is for people who are darker than your darker shade, the people with undertones that are neutral, and the people who just can't afford buying 2 foundations to mix their perfect shade. Another person said, you're the co-founder of AOU, your BB cream is viral in Korea, and you still have not enough money for more shades. I think you just want that most people have to buy 2 of your BB creams, and what you say, quote unquote, they're ripping off people, is kinda hypocritical. There's another comment saying that, hey, there's a brand called Laneige that has such a similar color scheme to yours. Please call them out as well. I mean, that's a little bit unhinged, but I get the sarcasm undertones from that. Honestly, as an individual myself, I don't see the similarities between Poom and Glow. I wouldn't assume Poom is copying Glow in the first place. And wait, let me just show y'all. This is shade number 1 on my skin. I have like light cool olive skin tone. Let me just show y'all. This is how pink, and that's how grey it looks. BB creams by right are supposed to look kind of like ashy in a sense, because they are supposed to protect your skin and all that kind of thing. And I must say that the quality of whatever products Glow releases, I think they are quite good quality, because I did swatch one of their shattered glass glitters. Very, very pretty, and I think it's so beautiful. It's very pricey. I mean, not super duper pricey like a Western brand like from Laura Mercier, you know, super expensive, you know, that kind of thing. It's not. but it's somewhere like a mid-tier pricing kind of thing. Think like Fenty Beauty-esque kind of pricing. I mean, when you compare it to a lot of like the road shop brands, theirs are a little bit more affordable. This is slightly up there, but quality is good. I gotta give that to Glow. I feel like this is one of the better BB creams that I have tried because it really does look like second skin. But the unfortunate part is the crappy shade range, and you know, here's 2 mixers, go figure it out yourself. That kind of whole energy. I'm not about it. Maybe, like I said, maybe it was just their attempt of trying to make things more diverse for people. But as I said, the onus shouldn't be on the consumer themselves, and you know, can't afford to buy like 2 bottles of BB creams, because honestly, BB creams is supposed to be like a slap on out the door kind of situation. It's not supposed to be a very like fussy thing. So the fact that Poom has a better shade range than Glow, yeah, I think that's pretty telling. I don't know if you can tell, but from my face to my neck to my hands, you can see how bright and pink of a different shade my face is compared to the rest of my body. So this is the Glow BB cream standalone by itself. Up close and personal, it looks really good. It really does look like second skin, truly. So I appreciate that. But the color of it is really not it. I paid like $30 for this. Full disclaimer, I use my affiliate commissions on YESSTYLE, which thank you so much if you use my code. I use that amount to get this. So that's why I can sit here and say like, hey, I've tried this. This is how it looks like. Normally when I do use this, I have to mix it in with a tint. So this is a green beige tint from GRWM Cosmetics. It has this like greenish undertone to it. So I mix it in. It usually matches my skin so much better, but I just wanted to show you guys today like how it looks like standalone by itself. If you had like nothing else, you only could afford to buy one. If you're a similar skin tone like me, this is how it's gonna look like. I'm not sure how I'm gonna edit this video, whether you've seen the founders of Poom's response to Casper. I think her name is Irene if I'm not wrong, yeah. And this video that I'm now rewatching on my end right now to freshen my memory, this was the first video that I actually saw from her. And I was like, what's going on right now? And then the search bar ends up being Glow Cosmetics versus Poom. Now I was like, oh, okay, now I know what's going on.
It's been an hour since I posted my last video explaining my side of the situation, and already in the comment section, I've learned a lot. On my end, I do want to apologize for all the ways that I handled it incorrectly. First one being, I should have addressed it sooner and not ignored the comments. At the time, I was building my business, so I didn't have the bandwidth to do both, like respond to that and then also do all of the logistics of building a business. It is just me right now in my business, and so I was like handling everything. But I do believe that the sooner you address things, the better, and I think I truly missed the mark on that by not addressing it, so that was my mistake. Secondly, I was so careless with the placement of the other brand's products in my own photo shoots. I did not intentionally put it there as a reference directly to that brand. I was being careless. From their perspective, I totally get why they were frustrated. They worked so hard to build their brand and the cult-like following that they have, and for somebody to just come in and be so careless about something like that is so offensive to a founder. I do want to touch on some points of our branding. Our brand colors are like everything in this Pantone script, pretty much 642 to 648. I was super thoughtful about the way that I designed our brand, and I do see the similarities. With my branding, it's so hard to change it all because all our assets have our branding on there. Our colors and everything have been picked out like very intentionally. Because the branding is finished, I can't really change the logo and all of the colors, just not realistic. But what I can do is our puff is so similar to theirs. It's a white puff with the logo. Theirs is a shade of blue and ours is a different shade of blue. Still so similar. Honestly, it is not worth the overlap and the confusion of it all. After I sell the stock that I have now of these puffs, I will not be ordering a separate batch. I know this is not the perfect solution to this situation, but I do hope that it will help alleviate the brand confusion. If making this move will help it in any way, I'm going to do that. I truly did not expect any support from people because we're such a small brand. For those who have sent kind words, I really appreciate it more than you know, and moving forward, I will be way more thoughtful. Hopefully this is one of the last videos that I can make regarding the situation, but after reading the comments, I do see there is a need for more clarity on this situation. I am an avid user of the other brand's concealer. I think it's one of the best concealers out there. I discovered their brand after all the formula and the packaging and branding was signed off on, deposits paid, all of that, but I did become a huge fan of their brand. All of their formulas are consistently so good. Their concealer is, I think, my favorite product from them. I gifted it to all my friends. I also carry it in my purse for attention and stuff. The day that we were shooting photos for our puff, I had the concealer in my bag. We needed to prop the puff up so that it wasn't just laying down, and the only thing in my bag that was small enough to hide behind the puff and also flat so that the puff could lean on it was that concealer. So I did use it to prop it up, and I still am an avid user of that concealer, but I carelessly allowed that concealer to be shown in a behind the scenes video that I took of the photo shoot, and that was truly so disrespectful and careless on my end. If the roles were reversed, I would be just as equally frustrated because something like that should never be taken lightly. I should have, even if it was peeping out a little, I should not have put it in our content anywhere. I will find that video that I posted. I'm having a hard time finding it, but I will find it and I will delete that video just because I think it's so disrespectful to the other brand. And I will leave a screenshot of it here just to expose that mistake that I made. Going forward, I will make a more intentional effort to A, be so careful with things like that, and B, differentiate our brand from existing ones.
This is a bit too pink to me. The tone of it is pretty okay, like I can kind of get away with it, but the sallowness of it, I can't, so I'm just gonna use a Chongsimul cushion. This is the long wear one. This is in Night and Light. I'm just gonna take some and put it and cover it up. You can wear like cushion foundations like on top of the BB cream, and it'll give like a better, more long-lasting effect as well. This video from Poom, the response video, it seems more genuine, it seems more sincere, and the TLDR is such where, you know, that the sponge itself, where Glow is accusing them of copying, she said that, you know what, look, if that's the case, I'm willing to discontinue, or I think at least change the beauty puff itself. Because this type of like doughy cushion puffs, they are very popular in China as well, you know. I can't remember what's the name, but there's one that's like greenish in color. I know that is super popular. A lot of people love that dough puff. So the fact that Poom's cushion puff looks so similar to Glow's, she said that she was willing to discontinue it out of like good faith, you know, that kind of thing. Which I think, genuinely speaking, not a lot of brands, like brand to brand, would do that. Literally in the Western market, we have Makeup Revolution duping like Charlotte Tilbury, Rare Beauty. There's so many brands duping one another, like literally outwardly copying them. So I think for an Asian beauty brand to actually say that I'm willing to discontinue it or just like work on it even better, it seems like Poom Cosmetics is a bit more like willing to give way or like maintain the peace between the two brands. I have to give credits to for the founder herself, Irene, saying that, you know, I wanted to have 6 shades and have them as evenly spaced out as possible. That is very, very important. I think people could see that at least, you know, she's trying to be at least a lot more inclusive. The fact that she had 6 shades and not just like 1 shade and a mixer, I think that would have made people like mad. Her reaction and her response videos, they come across as much more genuine to me, at least. We're not going to pick sides over here, okay? I'm just trying to break things down as civilly as possible. Not picking sides. You yourself can make your own choice, your own inferences. Who would you like to support and all that kind of thing. Also in the video, she also shares that all along she wanted to make cushion foundations. Not so much foundation, but it's just that in terms of cost-wise, it wasn't feasible. So the suppliers actually suggested to do foundations instead of cushion foundations. And the fact is that she was dead set sure on making sure there were 6 shades for everyone to use. She didn't like cut down on other shades, reduce it to 3 shades of paper white, you know, that kind of thing. I think that would have been very dangerous, not so inclusive. But she didn't, and I'm like, wow, okay, I have to respect her for that. I also do want to touch on one point, just in terms of like social media, generally speaking, okay. TikTok and short form content in general, it is very hard to get the full context of things because all of these videos are just really, really short videos, like 2 minutes, 3 minutes. It's not enough to cover the full nuance and context of certain situations. So I feel that whenever I see comments of people like jumping the gun and all that kind of thing, I get a bit like, do you really want to say that when you don't even really know the full story behind everything? Isn't it easier and better for everyone to just wait it out for things to play out first and then we get the full story? Granted, you know, we take things with a bit of salt here and there, right? Actually, no, take things with a lot of salt nowadays, actually. In a follow-up response video, Poom CEO Irene herself said that she wanted to address some things where she didn't handle it correctly, where, for example, she was just like blocking people after people commenting in the videos like, hey, are you copying Glow and all? Why is there like a very harsh line on my blush over here? I'm just gonna try and buffer it out a little bit. And because she was just like a one-woman show, she just had to get her facts straight and just like try to cut the noise. You know what? I can see why she did that. It's also very easy for me to say that just ignore the haters, you know, that kind of thing. She does also apologize for using the glow concealers as well, and to prop up the cushion puff, doughy cushion puff thing, which, you know what, yeah, I think that one was truly a mistake. I don't think that was really smart. In general, she's just apologizing for all the confusion, and when it comes to the mention of the puffs itself, she said it's like not worth the overlap and confusion of everything. She also said that once she sells out the current batch of doughy cushion puffs of Pooms, she's not gonna reorder it, hoping that it will alleviate the other brands' confusion and like mismatch and all kind of thing. That, to me, that was very graceful in my books. Yeah. And obviously, I'm taking a pinch of salt. We, genuinely speaking, we don't know how sincere some people can be, but at least on a surface value, I do feel between Poom and Glow, Poom seems to be a lot more, I'm leaning more towards Poom's side a little bit. The fact that the owner showed so much grace and humility, acknowledging her mistakes, how she could make the brand better and all, it really, really made me respect the brand and the founder self, knowing that this is the brand's morals and values. They made a potential boo-boo, they're gonna fix it, and this is how they're gonna make it better. That is a brand that I, as a consumer myself, can get behind. Genuinely, I am quite curious about Poom now. I am wanting to buy one of the foundations and actually try it out. The foundation itself is not cheap. It is $46 US. Also because I'm on a makeup low buy, so I'm just like, I'll be like, should I buy it? And I haven't bought much makeup, to be very honest. So if I do get this foundation, would y'all want me to review it? Not saying that I want more views, I want more clout, that kind of thing. But I'm genuinely curious about Poom, and I would want to support a brand like that if it's good quality stuff. She said that the foundation is acne free, acne safe, that kind of thing, because she struggled with acne so badly. Then heck, I want to try it. I want to see if it works. I love to support a brand. Now, this isn't to say that Casper is wrong, Casper is a B word, or whatever it is. I think from her POV, I can see why she got very frustrated. Not saying that what she did to go online and like go off and shame and call out Poom is right. I think this definitely could have been settled through email, like personally DM the person, brand to brand, that kind of thing. And I think it's also a really, really good lesson for anyone to not just like randomly call out XYZ just because. If things had been settled behind closed doors, I think the situation could have been resolved more amicably. I think when a brand doesn't want to solve things behind closed doors, maybe that's when you can get the ammunition and just like go off, I guess. But you know, legally as well. Why am I bringing it so low? I actually do want to try bringing it a bit lower though, because I've seen this trend of some people bringing like the highlight in the corner a bit lower than usual. I added some lower lash makeup, just run it along the underneath here. I really can really tight the whole look together, but my head is looking a little bit flat, and I still have a bit of things I want to add on. So I'm just gonna sit here and do my hair. But one of the latest responses is that with Poom is that Poom said, I want to clarify one thing that's been circling around that absolutely broke my heart. I never asked a manufacturer for another brand's layout or formula. I also don't have any employees to do that type of work for me. It's just me working on my business right now, no one else. Biggest takeaway from this experience to put extra effort into being this thing. My efforts won't be perfect, but I'll do my very best. So I think I didn't manage to touch on this point earlier just now because there was just a lot of things to unpack. The only thing that seems copied was really the doughy like sponge thing. I personally, I'm sitting here trying to go through the comments, seeing where is this alleged reason or rumor that taking Glow's mounts and copying it and all that kind of thing. Honestly, I don't see any difference between like foundation to BB cream. I don't see the similarities, sorry. maybe it's only the doughy cushion puff, but really the doughy cushion puff, I feel like a lot of brands have come up with such designs and layouts as well. I don't see a similarity in that, honestly speaking. One comment that says, not gonna lie, this whole fiasco exposed me to your brand and I just ordered a foundation, so I'm excited to receive it. That comment has 88 likes. That's crazy. And you know what? I totally agree with this comment over here because of this whole drama thing, I got exposed to Poom, and now I'm more inclined to try out the brand as well. So I don't know, $46. Pretty penny, but if it's worth it, why not? Why not, right? And to support a small business, I love supporting small businesses, local businesses, all that. So if not, like, why not, right?
Have the funds to do those crazy marketing stunts anyway, so let's just invest in the product so that it markets itself. There are a lot of options in my head. One would be to launch more undertones regarding the BB cream, so maybe like 3 more shades that could help balance out and neutralize the color. One could be going full out with the BB cream, looking for an investment to fund that process and make our BB cream our most stable best-selling product with a lot of shades. Third, I think this is the craziest thing. If I were to do this, I would have a lot of convincing to do regarding our team members, is to discontinue this product. YESSTYLE is a Korean beauty company, but we definitely want.
Hi guys, just wanted to drop in to explain a little bit more on our end. The biggest reason why I wanted to film this video was because a lot of people were saying that this is unprofessional. I definitely see what you guys mean by this, but I felt like there had to be some explaining. This may not change how people think, but Glow was found and made under the belief that a product can be both functional and aesthetic at the same time. As someone that's tried a lot of products both from the Korean and Western market, I feel like in order to compensate for the immense amount of marketing costs that these companies use, they compromise either or. So if the packaging is pretty and the formulation is a little lacking, and if they invest a lot in the formulation, then the packaging kind of seems off. I figured, especially when we started 2 years ago, we won't have the funds to do those crazy marketing stunts anyway, so let's just invest in the product so that it markets itself. So that meant starting our brand with a lip balm with our private mold that we custom made. Most of the time, beauty brands use pre-molds, which are containers that everyone could use. They don't have to pay extra in developing the mold for that packaging. Our lip balm was number 1 patented, the design, and number 2, it was a custom mold that we made. And if I talk about our toner, we've even had our manufacturer tell us that it isn't smart to make a formulation like this because normally a toner's manufacturing cost would be around $1 for the formulation, or even less, but ours was 5-6 times more than that. And they were like, this isn't going to be profitable and you won't be able to reorder anyways. Why are you making this product? It's just things like that that we've tried in order to make our brand different and special. And I'm sure the people that do support us and love our brand understand this side of Glow, because a lot of you guys have been saying, their detail, their branding, and I'm forever grateful for that. So it's really frustrating for me when I see efforts like that get mimicked. And I'm not, in this video I'm not even talking about the brand I previously mentioned. There have been so many cases, and I can't expect you guys to empathize with each and every case because throughout the time that this has happened, I haven't made videos, and I feel like that's what pent up all that frustration and energy. It isn't to a point where I'm discussing. I've even had employees of the opponent company mention to one of our employees that, yeah, our company actually used your design to make our lip balm. I've even had packaging companies that we work with come and say, this company specifically asked for Glow's layout. And most of the times we find out about these through external sources like influencers, UGC creators, followers that say, did you see this brand copying you? And just this sort of information kind of made us feel the urgency and the need to speak up about it in some way. And the most frustrating thing is a lot of you guys said, why don't you take legal action? But just the way the industry works, even in fashion, not just beauty, you can't really do much about that. Like, there isn't much you can do, because even if like the slightest bit is different, then they could argue against that lawsuit. That's what happens with a lot of luxury designer clothing, even furniture designs. You see knockoff cheaper versions. The original company can't really do much about it. I'm not that vocal on TikTok about our brand, and I do that for a lot of reasons, but in this case I felt like our brand deserved to have a voice and at least speak to you guys about a situation that we're struggling with. I feel like this frustration just exploded, which led to the tonality of the previous video. So there are a couple things that I really want to do with Glow from now on. The first thing is I really want to talk to you guys more about the development process and the thought process that goes into our products. Why we made this toner with a pump like this with this much lemon fruit extract in it, which is very expensive. Why our upcoming highlighters come in these packagings. It's called seasoning highlighter. One's sugar, one's salt, and there's a pepper, but it's not with me right now. The dispenser has different amount of holes, so it would have one hole for salt because that's what usually salt shakers have. I feel like if I had voiced these opinions on our products more, it would be more apparent as to why we would feel like these ideas are being taken. Clarification, I don't mean that people have copied our toner. I'm just using these as examples. And I've mentioned in the previous video, but one thing that I again want to stress is that I don't think these individual situations are huge, like doing something illegal against us, but when these things pile up, it starts to feel like a big situation. And I think the most important thing, most of you guys weren't saying anything about us being upset about someone copying us. Actually, most of you guys had feedback about our shade range. When we first launched our BB cream, we started with 1 shade, and this product went viral on TikTok because of its formulation and the finish, but also because it was launched with 1 shade and we were marketing on TikTok. We had like a budget of 100,000 USD left in our bank account, and manufacturing new shades requested like a minimum order quantity of 5,000 to 10,000. We decided the most inclusive thing we could do was launch these white and brown shades. And at the time, we did receive a lot of positive feedback about this, but now that the brand has matured more, this is actually becoming a problem. So the solution that I thought for complexion products was to evenly distribute the shades, not just having 2 to 3 porcelain colors. And the reason why we operate in that manner is because it's just realistically what we could do with a limited amount of budget. So I am going to increase more shades for the concealer. We're launching 2 more this year and 2 more within early next year. Again, this might not be enough, but I just really want to tell you guys that there are commitments that we are making. Also, we've decided to hold our cushion foundation launch until we can launch with at least 6+ shades. Probably the one that you guys are most curious about because it is the most viral product on TikTok. So the biggest reason why I'm deciphering what to do with our BB cream is because BB cream actually in Korea within the makeup artist industry, it's kind of used as a mixer. It is a base product. You can use it on its own, but most of the time makeup artists use it to soften up foundations, make foundations more glowy, make foundations more skin friendly and long lasting. And that was the thought process that went into this product's development. You know how you guys say the tone is too cool? Some BB creams are full on out gray, and the reason why they are made like this is because 1, they focus more on the skincare elements and perfecting the shade, but it's a little different from foundation. And 2, sometimes shades like this help with enhancing foundation formulations. There are a lot of options in my head. One would be to launch more undertones regarding the BB cream, so maybe like 3 more shades that could help balance out and neutralize the color.
color. One could be going full on out with a BB cream, looking for an investment to fund that process and make our BB cream our most staple best-selling product with a lot of shades. Third, I think this is the craziest thing. If I were to do this, I would have a lot of convincing to do regarding our team members is to discontinue this product. Yes, Glow is a Korean beauty company, but we definitely want to grow in the global market, and feedback is important. Understanding the community is an essential part of this process, and if we're going to consistently give this sense of not being heard or not being included in this brand's journey, then I don't think we could ever healthily grow. This is a completely separate video, but Glow actually makes a lot of skincare, and a lot of people are giving us a lot of positive feedback regarding our skincare formulations, so actually just completely pivoting might be an option for us as well. I don't think I've ever come out and spoken so openly about our situations, but I felt the need, and I feel the need to do this consistently in the future. If you guys watched this long video, then thank you so much for your time. If you guys have any questions regarding the things that I mentioned in the video, then please leave it in the comments and I'll try to respond as much as I can. Probably the one that you guys are most curious about because it is the most viral product on TikTok. So the biggest reason why I'm deciphering what to do with our BB cream is because BB cream actually in Korea within the makeup artist industry, it's kind of used as a mixer. It is a base product. You could use it on its own, but most of the time makeup artists use it to soften up foundations, make foundations more glowy, make foundations more skin friendly and long lasting. And that was the thought process that went into this product's development. You know how you guys say the tone is too cool? Some BB creams are full on out gray, and the reason why they are made like this is because one, they focus more on the skincare elements than perfecting the shade. It's a little different from foundation, and two, sometimes shades like this help with enhancing foundation formulations. There are a lot of options in my head. One would be to launch more undertones regarding the BB cream, so maybe like 3 more shades that could help balance out and neutralize the color. One could be going full on out with a BB cream, looking for an investment to fund that process and make our BB cream our most staple best-selling product with a lot of shades. Third, I think this is the craziest thing. If I were to do this, I would have a lot of convincing to do regarding our team members is to discontinue this product. Yes, Glow is a Korean beauty company, but we definitely want to grow in the global market, and feedback is important. Understanding the community is an essential part of this process, and if we're going to consistently give this sense of not being heard or not being included in this brand's journey, then I don't think we could ever healthily grow. This is a completely separate video, but Glow actually makes a lot of skincare, and a lot of people are giving us a lot of positive feedback regarding our skincare formulations, so actually just completely pivoting might be an option for us as well. I don't think I've ever come out and spoken so openly about our situations, but I felt the need, and I feel the need to do this consistently in the future. If you guys watched this long video, then thank you so much for your time.
Editing Crystal over here from the future. I am currently editing this video that you're watching right now, and initially when she said that she would discontinue the BB cream, I reacted with like a what the heck kind of thing with that reaction, because low-key to me it kind of felt like it was giving attitude, honestly speaking. But now when I sit down and I reflect, right, actually it also kind of makes sense, because for example, if Glow as a beauty line, if their skincare is as they claim to be doing like super duper well, right, that the makeup line is hindering their success, then I think it also kind of makes sense for them to discontinue it if so. But it will also be a bit disappointing in a sense, because like, you know, if it's genuinely a good product, like the Glow BB cream is a good product, I think anyone who has tried it can tell the quality of it is good stuff. But it's disappointing in the sense that, you know, financially wise, maybe it is not possible for Glow. As much as we want to ride on our high morals and say that, oh my god, this is not right, you know, you guys could have done better and work even harder to make sure the BB cream is more accessible. But I think also as a business, that's a business decision and choice for Glow to decide. It's not, none of us can decide on any of that, right? But yeah, I think it's just how the world works now that I think about it as well. And yeah, the world is not black and white. It's really various different shades of grey, unfortunately. So I wanted to pop that in. Also, I do have a lot of opinions, like additional opinions about this entire like last response. I'm looking at the video transcript of Glow CEO's final response video, right? And this part is, at this point, it's my opinion. It's no longer like facts. So I'm just gonna put that in. Think for yourself, okay? Take it with a pinch of salt, a mountain, a load of salt, whatever. It's up to you, right? So the first part where she says the biggest reason why I wanted to film this video was because a lot of people were saying that this is unprofessional. I definitely see what you guys mean by this, but I felt like there had to be some explaining. Fair. This may not change how people think, but Glow was found and made under the belief that a product can be both functional and aesthetic at the same time. This whole chunk, right, it does not add up with each other, okay? The opening statement is already acknowledging that, that how this whole saga was unprofessional, and she said she has some explaining to do. Like, I feel this kind of leads up to like either apology, acknowledgement, how that, Glow could do it better or something. But instead, it is tied with how Glow's identity was made under the belief product can be both functional and aesthetic. Nobody questioned it, nobody doubted it. So I don't know, maybe it's the way my brain thinks or what, but I genuinely don't see the link between the two. I don't know. How do you feel about this statement? Because I was a bit like question mark, question mark, question mark, like how is this related? Later on she does go on to share how the K beauty brands work, how they forgo formulation for cuter packaging, or cuter packaging may take together with good formulation may take a longer time, this type of things, which is good industry knowledge, correct? Because as consumers, we would like to be educated as well, so that is very useful. She also adds on about how beauty brands use pre-molds, which are containers that everyone could use. They don't have to pay extra in developing the mold for that packaging. So she then adds that her lip balm was number one patented, but the design of it was a custom mold, and this part, right? Now, I'm not sure if this is her way of addressing slash acknowledging the rumors where people were saying that, oh, Poom took the custom design mold anywhere and then tried to rip off Glow, that kind of thing. Because I'm on Poom's website right now, Poom literally only sells the foundation, a spatula, and the doughy puff. The spatula, what brand is like the most popular? It's probably Picasso, another K beauty brand, right? Does this mean that Poom is copying Picasso? I don't think so. Philly Millie also has done like a spatula design as well. Like every brand right now has done like a spatula design. Um, that's all. That's all she sells. She does not sell any other products. I genuinely don't know where the accusation of Poom copying Glow's packaging is now coming from, because I don't see it. I don't see Poom using a lip balm container that is using Glow's one. That one obviously is not right if that ever happens. I genuinely think it's just the fact that Poom's CEO used the Glow concealer to prop up the doughy puff. I think that's where the accusation is coming from, thinking that, I don't know, I genuinely don't know at this point. It's 10:30, I'm super tired and poop. Maybe the only similarity, like I said, it's the doughy puff. Kind of already explained that, everyone is kind of doing a doughy puff like that nowadays, but it does look really similar to one another. So like I mentioned earlier in the video, I don't want to repeat myself, but I can see why Glow CEO felt very frustrated and annoyed with it. And she adds on that it's very frustrating to see her efforts get mimicked, brands copying one another, which I totally empathize and sympathize with her, because really it is um really disheartening, and to see another brand rip off your idea and profit off of it, I think that must be super disheartening and just like downright frustrating. So that one, like from one creative to another, I totally can see why she feels so annoyed. And then she adds on, you know what? In this video, I'm not even talking about the brand I previously mentioned. There have been so many cases, and I can't expect you guys to empathize with each and every case, because throughout the time that this has happened, haven't made videos, and I feel like that's where all the pent up frustration and energy is coming from. I like how Glow CEO is like very understanding. Like so many cases, I can't expect you to empathize. That one, 100% it's practical. And yeah, I mean, part where I'm kind of nitpicking about now is I feel like that's where my pent up frustration and energy is coming from. Then take that frustration and energy out on the respective brands that are actually copying your brand, like straight up copying your brand, like taking your mold, taking your formulas, and I think go after that. I think it was unfortunate timing and unfortunate situation, and also just like I said, pent up energy and frustration that she let go on it on Poom. Glow CEO is not name dropping any of the other brands that are allegedly copying Glow. So I think in that aspect, maybe there's an NDA, or just like she doesn't want to pursue it anymore, don't want to air any more dirty laundry. Then yeah, sure, I totally understand. But if that is your claim of frustration and energy, then go after the respective brands. Privately also. I don't recommend doing this all out in public. Before I forget, I saw some comments on Glow's TikTok page. Some people were saying that allegedly that Glow CEO is offering people free cosmetics if they go after Poom, which I tried my best to go and find and scroll through the comments. I genuinely could not find Glow ever like suggesting it, encouraging it, or whatsoever. There were people in the comments saying she's deleting her comments and all that kind of thing. Now, I'm not one to blindly believe people unless I see the actual like black and white proof and evidence. So this is all alleged, but if it is true, then I'm so sorry that is actually cyberbullying. Because what the heck? That is not it, honestly. So this is alleged, and people on TikTok are like very, very unhinged, and they genuinely don't think twice before they actually type something out and like hit send. So take it with a pinch of salt. I take it with a lot of salt, to be honest, because I genuinely don't trust the comment section on TikTok sometimes. Casper actually in this video does say that initially the Glow BB cream only had that one skin tone shade, and they felt that at that point of time, the most inclusive thing that they could do to expand the shade range was to add the mixers. And she said that at that point of time, it was very well received, but now as the brand grows, it's a bit of a you could do better kind of thing, which, you know what, I am glad that she acknowledged that, you know what, everyone can do better. Good on her for actually realizing, like, you know what, let's put a pause on the cushion foundation shades and at least have 6 evenly distributed shades. Which then comes to my point of, then aren't you taking inspiration from the whole Poom situation and see how they distributed their shade range? Aren't you technically low-key copying them? You get what I mean? Like, at the end of the day, in today's world of like social media and all that kind of thing, it is impossible to be 110% original in my eyes. Everyone is copying someone. Everyone is inspired by someone one way or another. Heck, beauty channels like mine, beauty channel, like, am I copying drama channels? That kind of thing. So it is so. I just hope that both brand owners realize that, you know what, everyone can learn from this whole situation, and that if anything, if you're like not happy with one another, it should be settled privately behind closed doors. I feel bad. I really do feel bad for both brands, because to hear that Glow Cosmetics constantly gets people trying to trying to like dupe them and all that kind of thing, it's very sad and I feel bad. But I do realize that throughout this whole saga over here, Glow has never once publicly like apologize I don't know, I feel so like I see both sides to it. I feel that if this whole thing was put online, you're airing dirty laundry and calling one brand out and another and all that kind of thing, right? Then I think the bare minimum is to at least apologize for like surface level. If you brought it up to like this level, then apologize at this level. If you had done it behind closed doors, then apologize between one another. No one has to air out dirty laundry. That kind of thing. Also can see Casper's point of view of being, protective of her own business, her own baby, not wanting people to copy and dupe. I love the fact that she stood her ground. She was sure and confident in what she was saying. But like I said, if this whole matter had blown up like in your face up until this level, I think the bare minimum, even for at least face value, right, Asians, is to apologize, that kind of thing. Because now I feel like this whole situation has positioned Glow in a way where they don't look great, honestly speaking. And I wouldn't say like I'm gonna cancel Glow and never ever try their products ever again. I think in today's time and age, if a brand can change and alter and improve themselves, then yeah, sure, I'm not gonna like completely like cancel culture 101, never gonna use them ever again. But I do feel that Glow definitely needs some like way, shape or form to improve their brand image right now, because to me, it doesn't look that great, and I'm not as inclined to try their brand at the moment, at least for me. We'll see how it goes. Nothing is ever like set in stone 110%. So yeah, that's how I feel about the whole situation. This is still a progressing story, but I think it's equally important to share with you guys what actually happens on social media and nearly forgot. There is a video I vaguely remember, I can't remember who, but someone from Glow sitting down saying that we have no plans to expand the shade range because we are very popular in Korea and we didn't expect like a global, presence, which, what, good for them for the global presence part. But I just felt like it was very tone deaf. And I mean, there are some evidence of it saying that, oh, you didn't expect like a global presence, so we only have like one shade kind of thing. So, I mean, fine, whatever. But I do remember someone saying that, we have no plans on expanding at all. So, I mean, plans change. Things are never fixated in one go, always. And it's always good to see progression as well. But yeah, I just remember someone saying that we have no plans to expand the shade range. I just can't find the video anymore. I think the video probably got taken down. So take it with a grain of salt. If you don't want to believe me, you don't want to trust me, it's fine as well. But I'm just telling you, like, as a fellow consumer as well, I do remember someone actually saying that we had no plans. So for them to just, probably delete the video after, I don't know, is it after this whole thing exploded or maybe prior, along the journey, they decided to, release more shades, then maybe that's why they took the video down. I don't know. Okay, what are your thoughts? Let me know. Let me know what are your thoughts. I would love to hear from you guys. Do you lean more towards one brand or the other, or you just like, meh, I don't care, that kind of thing? That's fine as well. You can always agree to disagree, but please keep the comments civil, because I know 99% of you are very sweet, very understanding. It's always that 1%, that one wild ass comment in the wild, I'm just like, huh, kind of thing. So yes, please keep it civil. We are adults here, right? So let me know down below, and I will see you guys in my next video, which you can check out over here. Bye!